Do it. Make your dreams come true. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Just do it.
And so we evolved into these hierarchical animals. We are constantly assessing and judging each other, who's alpha, who's beta. We are naturally hierarchical, and we always organize ourselves in hierarchies. So even in meetings, we go to a meeting like, everybody's equal, I want you guys to work together. It's not going to happen. We are never equals. We always assess, we always judge, we always allow some others some deference and the role of leadership, and some of us defer and sort of take a more subordinate role. It always happens. Not necessarily a bad thing. And again, the reasons are very practical based on our history. Because what would happen was, when we would assess someone as our alpha, and let me be clear, your capacity to be an alpha in any population is not an absolute. It is relative to the population you're in. So you might be a technologist or an engineer, and you might think you're the hottest, best, most fantastic engineer, and so does everybody else, and you walk around like this, and you go take a dance class, all of a sudden your ego's not so big anymore, right? We've all had the experience, right? We've all had the experience where we shake someone's hand and we're nervous. You're not the alpha. You know? Or when we can sense that someone's nervous meeting us, you're the alpha, right? It's a relative scale. So when we assess that someone in the population is alpha, we voluntarily step back and allow them first choice of meat and first choice of mate. We let them eat first. We may not get the best choice of meat, but we will eat eventually, and we didn't have to get an elbow in the face to get that food. Good system. To this day, we are very comfortable with paying deference and offering advantages to those more senior than us. There's not a single person in this room, zero, that has a problem with somebody more senior than you at the company making more money than you as a salary, having a bigger salary than you. Doesn't bother you at all. You might think they're an idiot, but it doesn't actually bother you that they make more money than you because they outrank you. No issue. It doesn't bother us at all that somebody more senior than us has a bigger office or a better parking space. It is of no issue whatsoever. In fact, we very often find ourselves deferring to our alphas, doing nice things for our alphas. We open doors for them and call them sir and ma'am and get them tea, and they didn't even ask. I can promise you that if, as you were walking out of this room, if Steven Spielberg happened to walk in, you would hold the door open for him. And then you would go home and tell your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you'll never believe what happened today. I held the door open for Steven Spielberg. How come you don't advertise when you hold the door open for anybody else? It's because we're proud to sometimes do menial labor for those who we perceive as alphas in our system. We're proud to work for the groups that they lead and the organizations that they lead. By the way, you can't lead a company. You can run a company. You can only lead people. And so this whole idea of deference and how we always defer and sort of volunteer to these alphas is a natural human response, and it's a survival instinct, and it's all about this. And that's the point. None of those perks that you get for being the leader, for being the alpha, none of them come free. They come at a very high expense. You see, the group is not dumb. We expect that the person who's better fed, the person who's actually stronger or smarter than us, the person who has a higher self-confidence, has more self-confidence because of all our love and deference and hello sir and hello ma'am, and to actually boost their self-confidence. We expect that this more confident, stronger, better fed person, when danger threatens the tribe, we expect them to rush towards the danger to protect us. That's the cost of leadership. That's why we gave you first choice of mate, because you might die, and we want to keep your genes in the gene pool. We're not stupid. And this is what it means to be a leader, the willingness to rush towards the danger to protect those in your care. It is a choice. You don't have to be a leader. It is a choice. If you don't like the costs of leadership, you may not accept the perks of leadership because they do not come for free. This is the reason why we are so viscerally offended by some of the banking CEOs have these disproportionate salaries and bonus structures. It's not the money that offends us. It's that we know deep inside us that they have violated the very definition of what it means to be a leader. They have accepted all of the perks and bonuses and benefits of being the leader, and yet they're not willing to make any of the sacrifices for the role that they have accepted. In other words, we know that they allowed their people to be sacrificed for them to keep their bonuses and perks and advantages. Worse, sometimes they chose to sacrifice their people to protect their bonuses and their perks. This is what so offends us. It's not the money. If I told you we're going to give a $150 million bonus to Nelson Mandela, does anyone have a problem with that? No. How about a $250 million bonus to Mother Teresa? Got an issue with that? No. It's not the money. It's not the money. It's that leadership is a choice, and in our modern day and age, unfortunately, many of the people who like to call themselves leaders are not leaders at all. They are authorities. That's all they are. And we have to do what they say because they have authority over us, but we would not follow them. And this is a problem. Because when we do not feel that they have our backs, when we do not feel safe working inside their organizations, they force us to spend our time and our energy to protect ourselves from them. And the organization itself suffers. It's what happens.